Hello everyone, welcome back to the Loony Bin. My name is Loony, and once in a while, a story comes out. A heroic story, a story of bravery, a story of overcoming the odds and becoming a hero. The hero that you always believed that you were. And were inspired by a fictional character that you enjoyed, that you loved, and using that character's beliefs, those words he has spoken to that reached your inner self, your heart, the heroic you. This is a story of a man who experienced that. An experience where he became a goddamn hero. Okay, so maybe I'm being a little over dramatic, but this story is true. This story happened, I think, about a couple days ago, maybe even yesterday at the time of this recording. So it might be actually really recent. But it's a story of an individual who is a self-proclaimed otaku who stopped an individual from doing something very heinous. It all happened in Taiwan, in the Taichung metro. And this individual, this very dangerous individual, was planning to attack people with a knife. And this hero, this brave hero, decided that, you know what, this was going to be my moment. This was going to be my anime MC moment. And stop this very dangerous individual by confronting him, by, holding him off, by, suppressing, him from using that knife to save people's lives. Until the police came and then arrested this individual. He did a very fantastic thing, and props to him. He saved, people's lives, and, it's all a fantastic story. Here's the loony part of this story. It's not me laughing at him, because I can understand where he is coming from in terms of what he essentially did after this event happened. Because I am, and I've always been, an anime fan and a video game fan, so I understand, his perspective on this matter. And it's not me laughing at him, it's not me trying to embarrass him or anything like that. But essentially, at the press conference, this hero, when he was asked, why did he, do this? Why did he decide to become a hero and stop this individual from hurting others? He quoted, and he said, essentially, that Himmel would have done the same. Okay, now, if you don't know the context, if you don't know who Himmel is, there is a manga, or if you prefer anime, of a story called Frieren Beyond Journey's End. You've probably seen one of the main characters of this story. She is a elf girl with, silver hair, white hair, has twin tails. You've probably seen that iconic, smirk meme as she's holding a bottle and she's like, that meme right there. You've probably seen that meme somewhere on the internet at some point. But that's, she's the main character of that story. Her name is Frieren. In the story, there's a character named Himmel. He is considered the hero. As in most isekai anime, you have the hero that stops the demon king and stuff like that. Well, this isn't necessarily, actually, it's not an isekai at all. It's a fantasy story. This hero essentially is named Himmel. He's the one who stopped the demon king, and his philosophy, his ideology was always to help people no matter who they are. Be kind and help as many people as possible, because that's what a hero does. And if you see someone, in trouble, you want to help them, because, as a hero, and, the ideology of a hero is to always help people no matter what. This hero, this real-life hero in Taiwan, decided to basically say in the press conference, that Himmel would have done the same. He quoted, or he referenced, a anime/manga as the main reason as to why he decided to stop this individual, this very dangerous individual. And you know what? Props to him. Some people may call it cringe. And I can understand it, because like myself and many others who have, spent a lot of years watching anime, consuming fiction, we have all wanted to be that MC. We always wanted to be the MC of, the real world, of our own story, of the story of life. We always wanted to be that. It sounds cringe. Of course it does. Everyone, even, ever since we were kids, we always wanted to be heroes, right? And we will always, think or self-insert ourselves into a lot of these characters because that's our view of what a hero should be, right? So, yes, it is cringe to so many people who think that, but the reality is, it doesn't matter what you get your source of courage from. Whether it be trying to protect someone you care about, try to protect your friends, your family, right? If his reasoning to save and stop this individual, even at the risk of his own life, is from a character from a story or a fiction he enjoys, it's still heroic. It's still brave. He found a reason to, stop this very dangerous individual from hurting others. And props to him. I'm not making fun of him. I'm not embarrassing him. That's not necessarily the loony part. I'm not trying to make him, come out as cringe or like a very bad person. It's just hearing it, as someone who has always thought about it, hearing it is the loony part. And it's just like, I've always wanted to be, that kind of hero as well. I'm that, ever since I was young, I always wanted to be that type of hero. I matured. I have grown out of that phase and understand how the real world works. And I'm not usually at that level where, where I try to be like the MC of my own story, even though we are technically the MC of our own story, but like MC of life. You essentially, try to be the main character, right? This person essentially lived that dream, that fantasy that a lot of, young people who watch anime, who consume video games, who consume just any sort of fictional medium that talks about heroes. He lived this life. And he essentially, got this courage to do this from a fictional story that he enjoyed, from a hero that he knew would do the right thing. And I think that is beautiful. You may call it cringe. That's perfectly fine. But he's still a hero. He did what he needed to do. He saved a lot of people's lives, and he became a hero. That being said, it is still very loony that we are actually hearing someone actually, reference or, praise a fictional character, to as the reason as to why he did this heroic thing. And not only was, he referencing a fictional character, but he was also wearing a Monster Hunter shirt. Props to that, Monster Hunters are heroes too, right? Yeah. But the last part of this whole thing is that at the end, what he wanted to essentially portray and why he said all this is to give otakus a better representation. To not let people see otakus as, what a lot of people think they are, people who live at home with their moms, they're smelly, all they do is watch anime, they do cringe stuff, they're like chunies, stuff like that, like chunibyos, who pretend to be like this fictional character, like darkness, all that stuff, who collect, figurines, who collect video games, who collect anime, DVDs, all that stuff, At the end of the day, it's a passion, it's a hobby, right? There's a point in time where you have to, like, essentially understand that reality and your hobby don't necessarily always mix, right? They just don't. If you treat it as a hobby, you will still be able to, be an otaku. You still can. Otaku is yes, it has been, many years since an incident in Japan that basically labeled otakus as like really bad people, like really disgusting people. And you could definitely look it up. It's a very tragic story, unfortunately. But it's, a lot of people still see otakus as like these nerdy, weird people, right? It's only weird as much as you make it weird. You could still, do all your hobbies of like collecting anime. I do it. Collecting video games. I do it. Like, you could do all of this. Otaku is just basically a nerd of one specific thing, like a nerd for anime or like a nerd for a specific type of anime. But at the end of the day, you can gather inspiration from almost anything. And this person, this hero, did. Props to him. Amazing thing that he did. And if that's how he got inspiration, that's perfectly fine. We all have some sort of inspiration, and he found his. Props to him. Congratulations. And, congratulations. But thank you for doing such a, a service to and protecting a lot of people from this very dangerous individual. So that is the story. You know, it's a loony story, but at the same time, it's a very heroic story that deserves praise, unless you know we find out that it's a sham, like Jesse Smollett, and this was all planned, and well, I'm gonna be sad. But none of that is happening here, as far as I know. So at the moment, this individual, was a very heroic person. In case you were wondering why I'm not naming this individual, it's because the article only has like, I think the only article is like in Mandarin. So even Google Translate's a little weird in regards to, you know, the translation. So I can't figure out what his name is. I tried looking for it, but you know, if you know the individual's name, you know, put in the comments and then I'll pin it and then we'll do it from there. But yeah, you know, props to him. He's a hero. And Himmel, your words, your actions are still carried today. And, you know, well, and also the author of Freerun. But, you know, yeah. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.